Kris Statlander and Hikaru Shida against Nyla Rose and Dr. Britt Baker. And I swear to God to you, I'm going to read exactly what I wrote right before the bell rang. I'm watching this match to see Nyla Rose take more bumps than the other three girls combined, and Kris Statlander drop somebody on their head. Little did I know that both these things would happen in the same move. They start out 100 miles an hour. Nyla Rose is the second girl that Britt Baker, I think, was the first girl to take a bump, and Nyla Rose was the second girl to take a bump within 30 seconds of the start of the match. And then they got Baker out and they beat up Nyla Rose, the baby faces, before the heels could heal. Then Nyla Rose beat up Kris Statlander for a while. Then they went to the break. When they came back, Britt Baker, they've apparently got some fucking heat through the break on Kris Statlander. I don't watch this picture-in-picture bullshit. But Britt Baker has Statlander's leg, and Statlander goes for an enziguri and went straight over the top of her head. And Britt Baker knew she missed, but she didn't know what to do, so she just kind of stood there wobble-legged for a second and then just sat kind of back down. And Statlander gets the tag. And Shida makes a comeback and then tags Kris Statlander back in. And I thought they were lost then. I didn't know how much longer this thing was going to go, but as usual with every girls match they present, they let them get too complicated. They do shit that's way above their fucking pay grade and their experience level, and just too much shit that girls shouldn't be doing, whether they can do it or not. And this is what happened here in a second. Kris Statlander and Shida get a double Death Valley driver onto Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose was bumped around more than Riho bumps in her fucking matches, the supposed beast. So they double Death Valley drive her onto Britt Baker in the corner. And surprise, surprise, not only, and it wouldn't have been a good idea to do it anyway, but not only was it not a good idea to do it like they were trying to do it, but they missed it. And they instead of into the corner, they dumped her sideways, and she landed on Britt Baker's leg. And has anybody heard? Was it broken?
I haven't heard about anything.
Has anybody got a medical update? Because this wasn't part of the entertainment presentation, as they say. No, this big 200-pound whatever the fuck woman got fucking slammed on Britt Baker's ankle because they were fucking off kilter and they didn't know what they were doing. So anyway. Then Kris Statlander is pulling Britt Baker out to the middle to do more shit to her by her bad leg, and picked her up and gave her a slam, kept trying to do shit to her, and finally she rolls off, and the match is continuing while Britt Baker's off camera, because then later on you see their doctor is checking on her. The match continues now. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Kris Statlander picked Nyla Rose up off the top rope with a shoulder ride. Gave her a shoulder ride and then hit a face buster on her. What the piss in her mouth while she's down there. How many fucking people gave Andre the Giant or Big John Studd shoulder rides? They beat this girl up. She's the biggest one and the only one they could smash over as any semblance of a fucking threat to somebody, and she gets beat up and thrown around more than anybody. Then after that, the match went on while the doctor was checking Britt, and it just kept going. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing because they've lost one of their individuals. At one point, I think the referee called for him to go home, but because nobody can actually call shit in the ring anymore and they all have to practice ahead of time, Kris Statlander, somehow it went from Kris Statlander getting a 2 count on Nyla Rose, and then Statlander just laid down and rolled out of the ring. Shida, like she was going to fucking, now I don't know what they're doing. She was going to powerbomb Nyla Rose, but Nyla Rose backdropped her and covered her for a 2 count and then turned around and powerbombed her for a 1, 2, 3. So the referee was trying to call them to do something, but they didn't fucking get it from the back. So that was fucking rotten. Then Nyla Rose pulls out a table from underneath the ring. So now the women have to use tables also. It's not bad enough that they have bad matches where they actually really hurt each other, but they got to use tables also just to bury everything that might be useful to the men. A woman going through a table is not going to fucking sell any goddamn pay-per-view tickets because it's not even like we haven't seen that. It just distracts. You've got the fucking salad distracting from the steak. But regardless, she pulls a table out. Kris Statlander has disappeared, is nowhere to be seen. Shida is selling. Nyla Rose is setting the table up in the ring and putting Shida on it. Then, not even on purpose, just you see it out of the corner of your eye on the screen. You see the referee and the doctor helping Britt Baker out and ignoring Nyla Rose setting up the table and putting Shida on it, which, yes, Britt Baker was really hurt. But think about this in the moment, for fuck's sake. The referee and the doctor leaving and helping the one girl out while what was going on in the ring was like the police and the ambulance leaving the scene of an accident while half the cars are still wrecking. So didn't they have anybody else they could send out? Because it's supposed to be real. Even if the other real shit's on the ground, the shit in the ring's supposed to be real too. Somebody think on the fucking fly. This is why Jim Cornette used to yell and scream a lot at TV tapings, because when shit like this happens, this is what I was yelling and screaming. Go, go, get. Anyway, Nyla Rose goes to the top to splash Shida through the table, but Statlander reappears. She's been hiding underneath the apron, and she holds Nyla Rose for just a second so that Shida can get up. She has to position Nyla Rose's legs. She can barely climb up on the fucking turnbuckles. She finally gets up there and hooks Nyla Rose. Sheeta's 125 pounds. Nyla Rose is 225. But Shida hooks Nyla Rose for a vertical suplex while she's sitting on the top turnbuckle, where Nyla Rose obviously has to help by stepping up on the top turnbuckle to push herself over so that she gets suplexed through the fucking table, which is complete and utter garbage. She just beat Shida with a fucking power bomb. 1, 2, 3. But then Shida recovers and superplexes her off the top rope through a fucking table. Nobody gets over. Nobody gives a shit. Here's what you've done. You've given 15 or 20 minutes of television time to a bad match where one of your talent got legitimately hurt, another one got buried, and a couple more of them looked like they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. What'd you see?
I saw reinforcement of my idea that the AEW women's division was a mistake. They shouldn't have it. I think Britt Baker is a talent and a star, but maybe we should do something with her other than in the ring. And this isn't her fault. She didn't get injured. That injury was not her fault.
She was sitting there waiting on them to do stupid shit to her.
And you said
his only fault it was.
You said last week, Kris Statlander's going to hurt somebody.
Well, she had help here. And you know what? Britt Baker could be a modern day Tammy Fitch in Smoky Mountain Wrestling as a manager with that fucking promo and that mouth. And she wouldn't have to, and she maybe what she falls back on if they've hurt her badly. But what the fuck? And they were doing shit that spot would have immediately been vetoed by me or anybody else that thought, what the fuck? Why would you let somebody do that to Nyla Rose if everybody was safe? It's whatever.